Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure. I think both these teams have so much adrenaline pumping in their blood at this point that they are ready to try to cinch that win from their opponent. And there is nothing better than a third place match. And I can't wait to see what map we go to figure out who is going to win there. I think both these teams have shown really strong. We did see that late game comeback again from Necrodancers. So FreeBirds, in game number 3, gonna have to watch that aggression, gonna have to watch for Necrodancers making those unexpected plays in those disadvantages that they tend to be in, not afraid to come in and gank and fight when other teams would try to play it safe.
Yeah, and Howin, a fantastic job on Genji, making sure that backline that they had on Necrodancers was always under pressure. You saw the X Strike get plenty of value, especially on targets popping out of that bunker from his aerial and his blaze. Genji got so much value, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit more prioritization on the hero in this game. We haven't seen Necrodancers put much onto Genji in these past 2 days of Cup number 7. Not a lot of bans, not a lot of picks. So potentially a key hero here in our final draft as we're waiting to find out from our admins where we're going to be heading over.
Yeah, and I could theorize all day. I'm kind of holding out for Towers of Doom and to catch folks up. So we did have Brax's holdout banned out by Necrodancers and Sky Temple taken away over on the side of Freebirds. So getting into the game now, we are going to be on Towers of Doom. This is my favorite way to end a match that is tied up like this, where it is the last game on the line. This is the most exciting place to be, Murda.
Yeah, definitely going to be a thriller here to end the night. This one, I believe, was just picked by Necrodancers. So, Towers of Doom, and we saw them play here yesterday. They took a win against Divination on Towers of Doom in map number 3 in that quarterfinal match. We also saw them play it against FWC and took a victory over them in map number 1. So they're looking good this cup on Towers of Doom, and they're going to try to seal the deal on it.
Yeah, don't blame them for trying to go something that they have had success on so far. But we always know the great thing about Towers of Doom is that because you're not directly doing damage to that core, that it leaves a lot of opportunity for late game comebacks. I have seen some very crazy 1 core health comebacks on this map in particular in HGC, in other leagues around the scene as well. Anything can happen given a slow, steady, methodical, well outplayed composition. So gonna have to see if that's something that ends up happening or if it's a very dominant sweep from one of these teams.
Again, as we talked about earlier, Necrodancers looking to pick up third place to swap positions with Reborn in the standings, and they'd find themselves in third place and would also avoid the side of the bracket that has Scythe Esports in it. So a team in Scythe Esports that is very scary to ever have to play against. So if you're Necrodancers, this means a lot to not have to worry about it at all and go ahead and just pick up the win now and hop onto the other side of that bracket. So a lot on the line here. FreeBirds obviously locked up that second place spot, but it's all up to Necrodancers to make some moves in the standings as we head into draft number 3, Towers of Doom.
Yeah, Towers of Doom. And like we talked about with Unaverted on that Phoenix, is it worth the ban here from Necrodancers? Or do they want to stick to that URL Hammer Sonia? They have stuck with those 3 so far all this set. We're continuing to see the Maiev ban coming out from Freebirds, and I don't expect too much to change coming out. We're going to see the Hammer ban coming out first, laying down the law here. That strat of Hammer protection around these shrines, definitely something to be feared here.
These teams know what they want to do. 3 bans so quickly. Hammer was thrown out. Yarel obviously is the other ban here for Necrodancers. And now we've seen what started off these drafts every time. Necrodancers, they want that blaze. And finding the Deckard Cain, who is 2-0 in this set, he swapped over to FreeBirds last game, and they found victory with them as well. So looking for his third win of the match is Deckard Cain, and it's going to be in control of FreeBird.
Yeah, that is definitely something scary. It does seem that Decker Kane has had so much to do with a lot of the success for these teams in this matchup. However, Stukov still being up. Do we see a white main band coming out later? We did see one coming out from FreeBirds. Picking up the support right away for Necrodancers is Stukov and the reprise of Jaina here on map number 3.
I find it interesting they didn't want to go into their blaze, as there's the Genji I talked about, and an always scary Abathur, a perfect clone target, and just the hero they wanted here on Towers of Doom.
Yeah, the Muradin being taken out. I like the removal of that very beefy front line coming out. Also great on Abathur compositions, given that it is mainly a 4-person rotation with the assistance of an Abathur hat. We're seeing a Lost Vikings band coming out. We saw Faye last night rocking those Vikings on Towers of Doom, being able to pick up experience and team fight here and there, making sure Abathur had that soak negated in all lanes. So very great band, very well researched coming out from FreeBirds.
And, also having the Genji, it's really tough to play Vikings into that hero. But 3-4 picks coming up here for Necrodancers. See what they want to go. They're going to pick up a tank and a Nubarak. And my favorite dinosaur, as always, Dahaka.
Dahaka, lots of bushes to brush stalk through on this map, being able to burrow in and channel on your opponent's shrines if so need be. Getting that wave clear as well. Very standard, I would say. The Anubarak we've been seeing a great comeback for overall in Open Division, who is favorite tank of mine personally. We're seeing Garrosh go over to the side of FreeBirds for the first time tonight, followed up with that Rainer as well.
Jim Raynor has been playing fantastically throughout this Open Cup. He's going to find his way onto the side of FreeBirds here for this final map. They also get a Garrosh, which had been played by Huff Money in our first 2 maps of this set. And so now Huff Money has to really pull out this Anubarak and figure out how to make it work. And he's going to have to play up against a Garrosh, who's one of those heroes that could really help lock him in and make him not be able to use a burrow back out if he can land that Warlord challenge. Physicals, we saw him yesterday on this hero, Zeratul. Time to shine for him on Towers of Doom.
Yeah, absolutely. The Zeratul coming in, making sure to get that sneak attack, making sure folks can't necessarily roam around as safely as they usually would like, which is super important when we're talking about the rotations for those zapper camps, for those shrines as well. So eyes going to be on physicals for sure to see how well that Zeratul is going to support the rest of the team with a lot of damage.
Towers of Doom, man, so much on the line and a heavy reliance for the members of Necrodancers to rely on that cocoon that's going to come out from Anubarak. There's not a lot of strong clear for it on the side of FreeBirds. Genji and Raynor are going to have to really jump on it quickly. So we'll see what happens with that. Huff Money has opportunity to make some big plays if he can help interrupt some of the stuff that FreeBirds wants to do with that cocoon.
Absolutely, but we are finally getting to it, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3 for 3rd place here of Cup number 7. We are going to see if Necrodancers can get 3rd in the standings for Open Division playoffs. In the blue, we will have physicals on that Zeratul, the attacker on Stukov, Faye on Jaina, Zerial on Dahaka, and Huff Money on Anubarak. You have the Necrodancers.
And over on the right-hand side, your Game 2 winners, FreeBird. Fancy Pants going to play the Abathur. How win once again on Genji. Caesar Salad reprises his role on Deckard Kane. Today, you're going to see the Garrosh played by Diesel, and rounding it out in this bottom lane, Jim Raynor played by Unaverted.
And for the first time, we're seeing a little bit of a change up in the build for Jaina. Lingering Chill coming out at level 1. So rather than the extension on Frostbolt, rather than Fingers of Frost for that regen globe quest, we're seeing a duration of chill for an extra 2 seconds, which absolutely tells me, and I should not be surprised, how team fight focused the members of Necrodancers are going to be in this game.
I'm excited to see Faye potentially look for a more aggressive team fight here on her Jaina this time. Last night, we watched Map 3 up against the team of Divination, where Faye, she had very low hero damage throughout the game, but really turned it on right at the end, was able to pick up that victory for them. But this time on Towers of Doom, so much on the line, and I want her to step up. I want to see her really bring it out early and often on this Jaina.
Yeah, absolutely. Jaina has such the potential to really turn a fight around, has amazing wave clear, especially if she ends up picking up that piercing damage at level 4, being able to essentially clear camps by herself, so she chooses. So that is always an option there to keep an eye on. Physicals, though, able to blink out of what looked like a very scary situation with that Genji and Deckard. Focusing down on trying to get the kill on that one stealthy boy there.
Nifty footwork there by Physicals. He's going to survive. Use a Hearth. The Haka is going to make sure Genji does not get anywhere near that. So good escapes, especially with the Zeratul. It doesn't really get his full mobility kit until level 4. Fantastic there from Physicals.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing Abathur hang out in the top lane, trying to get a little bit of passive soak there as well. Azariel, though, pushing really far into that gate. Fancy Pants gonna come back just a little bit, making sure they're not so overlapped with that gate that perhaps the Haka can get some damage in on them, which is always something you have to be concerned about with Abathur.
Yeah, look at these heroes. Jaina, 0 hero damage. Raynor, 0 hero damage. They're just making sure they're getting waves. They don't want to fall behind. They do not want to find themselves picked. There's so much on the line, and these teams are playing very patient. And who's going to take the first shot is really the big question, CatPeach.
Yeah, absolutely. It is also interesting to know Abathur going for that very healing focus build with that Carapace. So watch for, I would say, probably Genji really diving in there with that hat, being able to have some extra healing and protection to survive those deep dives a little bit further. 3 shrines spawning. I expect a trade of those top 2, as we tend to see here, and then a lot of contention over that bottom, unless Diesel has other plans trying to disrupt the rotation coming out from Necrodancers. But Dahaka and Genji are already grabbing those shrines. Diesel, though, sticking around much longer than I would have assumed, trying to poke on that mid shrine, but ends up giving it over to Necrodancers. So 2 picked up in favor of the blue team over here, which is a nice little lead to get started off with.
These early game altars heavily favor Necrodancers to pick up, with the Abathur only having a hat available to provide to anyone on his team. And then the Dahaka on the side of Necrodancers is able to help swing anything into an advantageous fight for Necrodancers to be able to have more heroes just available in the fight. So what ends up being what would be a 4v4 turns into a 5v4, and there's really nothing Abathur can do until level 10. So heavily favoring these early altars is Necrodancers.
Yeah, and the last thing that an Abathur composition really wants to do is fall behind in that experience, because it's very hard to make up that experience later in the game. And so once that ultimate evolution does come out, unless we see something wacky and have monstrosity picked up, which I don't think we'll see, really waiting for that, allowing Abathur to focus on soaking out those lanes and getting them prepped for those team fights later on. But we also see Mule coming out, so making sure those structures stay healthy at the very same time.
Yeah, and you saw once again Necrodancers knowing that FreeBirds had no opportunity to get their pumpkin sappers out. They go ahead and steal it away, grab their own, and now there is a bunch of siege coming down this bottom lane. They already got rid of the first tower as the altar spawning 13 seconds away. And set up this time is going to be Diesel in this middle bush, trying to make sure no one's going to be able to walk through. Up top, we do still see Dahak up there getting additional soak for Necrodancers, but this is another opportunity for them to find another altar.
Yeah, but these zappers down the bottom, FreeBirds definitely don't want to let those pass into that wall just yet. It's really early to start losing out a lot of structures, and there's already a lot of damage down there to that front gate as well. So trying to lessen that just a bit by defending, giving up that shrine, trying to be a bit strategical here in the early parts of the game. As we talked about, it's very easy to come back. Not necessarily easy, but it's doable on Towers of Doom. But we're seeing FreeBirds go in on Huff Money. Burrow's going to come out, but the flip coming out from Diesel tries to secure the kill, and before the Scroll of Sealing even comes out, finishing blow coming out from that Genji.
Yeah, Garrosh, fantastic job from Diesel, stepping up to the wall, knowing that Huff Money wanted to try to burrow back to safety, but he stood right in the way, had that throwback, and ended up securing the first blood of the game. Came pretty late in this one as the teams are approaching level 10.
Yeah, absolutely. And a slight experience lead for FreeBirds there. So hoping to find a window of opportunity perhaps to force in a fight while they have that 10 advantage. It's going to be very slim though, so not necessarily sure it's something they'll be able to pull off here just yet. But for physicals, roaming around trying to see who they can find. The beautiful swift striking from Hao Nguyen, but physicals able to dodge it. Physicals, like you mentioned before, very fancy footwork here on this Zeratul.
Next altar phase just announced, 25 seconds till that spawns, and this is the first time in this matchup we're going to get to see Abathur appear in a fight. Ultimate Evolution just selected. They'll see X-Strike, Rainer's Raider. It's going to be a Ring of Frost for Faye this time, not the Water Elemental, and they're going to try to lock it down with a Void Prison combo. This is exciting, and Necrodancers need to be able to pull off this combo if they want to win any team fights.
Absolutely. And the combination of Cocoon and Shove trying to separate the team as much as possible. Getting that Shove, pushing back an opponent, landing the Cocoon right here onto Decker Kane, trying to simply just protect the attacker from being able to channel the Shrine without problem. The members of FreeBirds too late, but they're still going in for the kill. The extra coming out from Hao Nguyen, but the kill is not there on Faye just yet. The flip coming in from onto Azariel, trying to simply get them back and disengage from this fight. Fancy Pants getting the clone onto Genji, but the fight has already dissipated, and there is not too much for that Shadow Genji to really take advantage of.
Shadow Genji will be able to fall here as Pumpkin Sappers are getting stopped by the silence of Stukov, and you see where he finds his value here on Towers of Doom as he's able to silence some mercenaries and make sure their structures stay healthy. So solid play there by Stukov, making sure that happened. But I do want to point out the Void Prison coming out on the backside from physicals, making sure that that attack was not able to continue, was actually what ended up saving Necrodancers from falling in that fight. It was unfortunate Faye was so low on her health that she wasn't able to get off of a Ring of Frost. But once again, look at this. This silence from Stukov. No damage from Pumpkin Sappers.
The overlapping circles of Lurking Arm and Blizzard is a beautiful pair to make sure those zappers aren't running headlong into your structures. Faye and the attacker pulling off a beautiful combination to get that clear very quickly on that camp, especially before this next shrine ends up spawning here in the bottom lane. In both of these teams, heroics are going to be mostly up 10 seconds for Zeratul to have theirs up as well. So we're going to have to see who wants to duke it out. Can we see a better use of that ultimate evolution on that Genji as well to maybe confirm a kill on the side of FreeBirds?
Yeah, trying to soak up some more XP. It appears Zeratul was up top, so not down here yet with his Void Prison, but now coming down. Physicals will be here with Diesel on the front side of this defense from FreeBirds. Here's Azariel, Indomitable pop to make sure the tongue does not connect, but there's the Void Prison, CatPeach.
Yeah, the Void Prison entirely canceling that ultimate evolution in the Ring of Frost to boot right after rooting two members of FreeBirds. The shove going out onto Diesel. Anubarak is going to be the first to fall, however, and Fancy Pants on that Genji clone going in, putting in that damage. The taunt's going to go out onto Diesel to drag Azariel in. The damage is coming out here from Hao as well, and a beautiful 3 picks coming out in favor of FreeBirds. Can they end up pushing in this bottom lane and converting this bell tower is my next question.
This is the time in the game where Abathur starts to make a difference, and you saw it right there in that fight. The combination of Void Prison and Ring of Frost ended up connecting, but they didn't find a kill. And that's like your whole play if you're on the side of Necrodancers, and once it misses, you hate to see it. Now Physical's in trouble. Hao Nguyen with an Abathur hat, trying to be chased down, and here comes the rest, but he will be able to walk away as Hao Nguyen was separated from that advance.
Yeah, great use of the barbs there from Anubarak to make sure that rotation couldn't continue on to physicals. Look at this little meal going away, healing up these structures, making it so much harder for the members of Necrodancers to get any kind of experience, significant experience from taking out these structures, or even get close to attacking a bell tower if they're still up. So Abathur doing a great job babysitting all those front gates, making sure they are as healthy as possible. before it is too late and they fall.
Pumpkin Sappers being taken away, and they have control of this bottom lane bell tower. Already have other Sappers pushing here as well. Triple altar phase, but this is a Dahaka comp on the side of Necrodancers, and they usually can get the advantage in some of these. But I love what they're doing, keeping Genji down bottom. He's going to grab that first altar and then be able to quickly head up top and help out his team as they're looking to get the other side. But this is definitely going to have to be just given up by Necrodancers, as this bottom lane push with the Pumpkin Sappers is way bigger of a threat right now than the Bell Towers.
Yeah, absolutely. But that is 10 shots coming in for FreeBirds there. The Mule coming in to make sure they keep the Bell Tower on their opponent's side. And this has greatly decreased that gap in core health for FreeBirds here, who were quite a bit behind just a bit ago. So being able to keep the pressure up in bottom lane, again, the focus on using Mule there just to keep it topped off is great play coming out from Abathur. And this is going to give FreeBirds an opportunity to continue to put pressure on that map. They can easily give up that bottom bell tower as well, but they would know where their opponents are. So it's going to be very coordinated, tricky play coming out from Necrodancers if they want to get an advantage without this bell tower.
Yeah, this bottom lane situation is not what Necrodancers wants to be looking up at right now. They do have a lead in core shots for the moment, but with level 16s now approaching for FreeBirds, it's going to get a lot more difficult to try to make a play. This boss is available as the mules are still falling down from the sky. After making sure nothing is going to be lost here in terms of structures for FreeBirds, but they're trying to make an attack on this bottom side bell tower.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have such a difference in levels as we have in the past two matches where it was typically 14 to 16 in favor of FreeBirds. So Necrodancers very close to having that even talent. If they wanted to go try to invade the shrine on, or the altar on their opponent's side, we know they are committed and willing to do such crazy feats of bravery, but I think they might focus on simply trading out here, not trying to lose too much too early here. For these core shots, especially because they are down. They still only are getting 3 shots compared to the 5 of FreeBirds.
Oh, wow. That's a pick they want right there on Zeratul, as 16s were just being gathered for Necrodancers, and now this is a big spot for the members of FreeBirds to find this bottom side sappers and start pushing them across. They have the garage this time. He can potentially throw one across with his Into the Fray. Will he be able to do it? But they have such an advantage here right now, CatPeach.
Yeah, absolutely. And just chuckling at Fancy Pants, clearing up that top just a little bit with that Ultimate Evolution Genji there. But focusing, as you mentioned, on these 3 zappers making their way to the bot lane. One going in with Into the Fray. We're going to have to see if the other 2 are able to sneak their way in past this defense coming out from Necrodancers. The silence is there, but doesn't connect to anything. And that phase is over. Those 2 zappers end up going down. Hanuin focusing on getting more zappers in favor of FreeBirds.
And it's going to mean more pressure in the bottom lane. And it really opens up the map so much more to them. And if it weren't for Dahaka on the side of Necrodancers, they would have a lot of pressure in multiple lanes. But Dahaka's being such a nuisance up there for Abathur, who you see him pushed all the way back up against the wall in that top right corner of your mini-map. He's just hiding out because he doesn't want anyone to come get him. But just a lot of fun there. But here comes an engagement. Huff Money burrowing forward. Dahaka coming up from the top lane. Drag on top of Rainer. He's in trouble. We'll be able to back up Cocoons on Decker Kane. And here's the Void Prison. Gonna reset this fight. Watch the Ring of Frost now from Faye. She's gonna start looking for it. Dropped a little late, but ends up connecting. They find a kill on Garrosh. They're looking to finish off Rainer as well. Decker Kane goes down, but it's a 4 for 2 and a huge swing around with the Ultimate Evolution. Fancy Pants getting the last swipe in there.
Getting the last fight, but the coordinator coming out, able to Swift Strike out of there, luckily, or at least get out of that situation there. But oh my gosh, what a bloodbath. At first for both sides, but in the end, a full team wipe from Necrodancers. No one here to defend against this mid push coming out from the FreeBirds, who set their eyes on getting a second of their opponent's bell towers here. Abathur getting the channel below while this is all happening. Fancy Pants putting in some effort there in Abathur, having to move around, actually be on an objective for at some point in this game. Good to, make Fancy Pants have to pay a little bit of attention, help out a little bit, more so than just the hats, I would say.
I actually like that they didn't capture this bell tower in the mid lane. They softened it tremendously, though, which means later on they can come and take care of it, which will give them another big advantage in the game. But this bottom side bell tower is being defended right now. Mule's out, Blizzard's on top from Faye, as Diesel shows up on that Garrosh. The silence so good with the virulent reaction from the attacker, making sure that Diesel cannot step any further forward with this Garrosh in that fight.
Yeah, the mule ends up expiring, but the immediate kill onto Garrosh is going to give Necrodancers an opportunity to see what else they can get out of this. They haven't gotten their bell tower pack just yet, so they will have to focus on that, and the members of FreeBirds are going to use that tower defense to simply back away. The shove ends up coming out onto that Genji clone as well. Fancy Pants going in, trying to soften up the members of Necrodancers, even though there is no finishing damage, but when you have the clone out, you got to do something with it. So even though there's nothing there, glad to see that Fancy Pants just trying to make Necrodancers a little bit annoyed with some of that shuriken damage.
And no level 20s yet for Necrodancers. They might be able to find it if they can get some damage onto this bottom keep, but they're probably going to be too short. But 2 altars in the bottom lane, and a Garrosh still dead for 15 seconds, which lines up perfectly with the altars spawning. This is a huge opportunity for Necrodancers, especially after getting that bell tower down to make a swing. But as I mentioned, that middle side bell tower finally being picked up is exactly what the FreeBirds are wanting to do with their play earlier.
Yeah, and Azariel is going to grab that bottom shrine, which is going to leave this mid one contested. You see the minions gathering up on that top bell tower as well. Can they take that out and make this a 5-for-3 shot trade here in favor of FreeBirds is the question. I think they're trying to stall it to see if they can happen, realizing it's not. Caesar Salad going in for the channel. The barb coming out from Huff Money, being able to stall it out a little bit longer. We're going to have to see if they're willing to burrow in to stop this, or if they give it up. Huff Money getting in. The taunt going out, though, on the 2 members of Necrodancers. The X-ray coming out. Physicals being caught by the scroll. A lot of damage coming out. Fancy Pants with the ultimate evolution, finishing up the job. And now the retreat is on for Necrodancers.
And not able to find a spot to use Ring of Frost yet is Faye. Here it comes, connecting on Rainer, but not enough follow-up is available from the rest of the team as they find themselves down 2 members. This altar still available, and it's going to be an even exchange, 1 apiece for each of these teams, as now we find the core totals 4-10 in favor of FreeBirds with a boss available on the map. This could be GG right here, CatPeach.
Yeah, and we see Mule coming out in the middle of nowhere from Abathur just to get that vision onto the members of Necrodancers, but this boss looking like it's finished, but the contention coming out from Necrodancers, trying not to give it up. Jaina ends up falling for it, and the contention is still going on. However, Nubarak is going to fall, and that is the final 4 shots going out to FreeBirds, getting game number 3 victory here against Necrodancers.
Necrodancers fall. FreeBirds as the second place team in the North American Open find themselves with a 3rd place victory tonight. But Necrodancers, they fall just short of passing Reborn in the standings, will end this season in 4th place heading into the playoffs next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't see too much shifting around except for that Storm beautiful run today in the upper bracket. So congratulations to them as well for making it into the top 8 for playoffs next week, which is going to be some of the most exciting games we've seen in Open Division so far. We have so many teams that have been practicing their heart out. We had Storm come into North America just to compete here in North America Open Division, and they are looking to try to get into the Crucible next week. But it's definitely not going to be an easy run by any stretch, and anything can happen in the meantime for sure, Murda.
Yeah, and I want to give a huge shout out to the teams of Trademark Gaming and Team Minmax. They were sitting on the bubble, and tonight with Storm Gaming grabbing that final spot in the playoffs, they were eliminated, making your top 8 for next week. Scythe Esports, FreeBird, Reborn, Necrodancers, Divination, TLR, Firm Handshake, and most recently added Psystorm Gaming.
Psystorm bringing it up in 8th place. So congratulations to them. But that, I believe, is going to wrap it up for the evening here for Heroes Hype. So thank you all for joining in and seeing this 3rd place match play out in such a beautiful fashion. We do want to shout out our Patreon real fast. So if you like the work we do over here at Heroes Hype, we try to bring tournaments to the community. We have fun stream events. And if you want to support us in what we do and what we bring to the Heroes of the Storm scene, go check us out there. There should be a link in our panels here on the Twitch page where you can see we have all kinds of rewards. You can come in, you can have special access in our Discord channel to communicate and hang out with our staff members, with our stream team. We have tiers for swag. We also have tiers that get you special access into a lot of the VIP parties that we throw at events like Western Clash, Heroes of the Dorm, and coming up recently soon in a couple months is BlizzCon Murda. So that will be exciting,
the big one
for sure. The very big one, the championships of all championships itself. So definitely check that out. Keep an eye out on HeroesHype.com or on our Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and every other social platform that we are also on, because we are on a bunch. You can always find us there to keep up on news. We have Instagram now as well, so you can see all the photos that we take from those events and check out what we do. So, Murda, any final concluding thoughts before we wrap up for the evening?
I mean, again, congratulations to all these teams that have qualified. Next week is going to be very exciting. A double elimination bracket taking over 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Make sure you tune in here to the Blizz Hero stream as well as over here on Heroes Hype. Check it out. For myself, I'm Murda. You can find me over on Twitter at MurdaRG. I believe it should be right below me. Go ahead and hit the follow button on my page there. If you want to find me on Twitch, I cast a bunch for Nexus Gaming Series, twitch.tv/MurdaRG, and I've had a pleasure getting to cast Open Division this season, CatPeach with you, over the past few nights. It's been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to have such a swell partner to bring up Cup number 7 and bring this to a great conclusion. And as Murda said, I am CatPeach, and you can find me around on Twitch and Twitter at the CatPeachGG that you see below. So come hang out, come say hi, and I suppose that wraps it up for the evening. So we will see you all very soon, and we hope you have a swell night. Thank you very much.